Today we are live. Instagram, come on. Catch up, IG. We can do all this all day, man. Today we're having a conversation about defining moments. Instagram is doing that thing it does every once in a while where it gets all funky. It doesn't want to work. I don't know why it does it. Couldn't tell you. Why am I not? I gotta turn this thing. We gotta turn with me, IG. Oh, the whole morning trying to figure out this IG internet connection issue. Anyway, today we're talking about defining moments. My son had a cool one this weekend. Welcome to the week. It's Monday. Sonya, Lucas, good morning. Oh man, it's gonna be a beautiful day today. I got a good chunk of podcast coming. I gotta take my kids to school here in a minute. I'm a dad, people. I'm a dad. Instagram's waking up savvy nail chickens what they're doing. So let's talk today about something that happened that was cool over the weekend. It's called a defining moment. And defining moments have a special place in my heart because we all have them. They should have a special place in your heart. And you know what I mean by defining moments. I mean that moment where something happens and people watching can see who you are. And think about that. Like people watching go, oh, that's who this person is right now. I get it, right? And seriously, these moments will define you good or bad ways. It's not that it defines you only positive. It defines you. He says, I'm a dad too. You matter today. And I find that pro football shot, I find that Professor Bishop, that's what it is, not Pro Football Shop. Hey, Simone, Cheryl, Alexander. So here's what took place. My son is at a track meet. And I want you to think it's a perfect day outside. There's almost zero wind. It's about like 85-ish degrees. It's not too hot, but just hot enough for track. And they're all warmed up, and he's been preparing. I see him in the middle of the field doing his practice for the hurdles, to go over the hurdles. Now, just so you know, the kid runs hurdles, the 110s and the 300s. His freshman year, he was the ebal champion for the 110 and the 300 hurdles. And so I'm like, oh, cool, he's out doing his thing. And he goes over to the hurdles. And my wife and I go, what was that? We look at this dude, we go, this guy, he got a little technique all of a sudden. Where did that come from? Like, he was looking good out there. And I'm like, if he can do that over the hurdles, the kid's going to fly. Like, he is about to fly over the hurdles. Because hurdles, think about it, the more time you spend in the air because you jump too high, the less time you spend on the ground putting force into the ground to propel yourself forwards. And so I didn't know it. He was setting himself up for a defining moment. It's not, here's the thing, he didn't win the race. I want to say it first, he didn't win the race, but I want you to grasp how this moment works out. And then I want you to realize how this ties to your actual life. It ain't about the practicing, it ain't about what he was doing. Here's how it took place. So his race comes up. And I'm like excited. His mom's excited. I got my camera. I'm sitting there. The kid's going to run the 110s. I'm like, all right, 110 hurdles is good to go. Now, the kid that's in there with him has a time that's like, my son's best time is a 15.8. This kid's like a 15.69. So, like, it's a pretty close race. But here's the thing. My son ran that 15.8, and he has never went over the hurdles as smooth as I saw him go over them in the middle of the field that day. Like, he's never gone over. So in my head, I'm like, wait a second. If this guy can get that technique over the hurdles, he's going to kill it right now, going to kill it. And so I'm juiced up. His mom, we're like, you guys ready to do it? He's going to get it done. I'm feeling really good, feeling really, really good. And here's what takes place. This is a defining moment, people, defining moment. So I'll get to the moment where my son, he's at the blocks. And the thing is like, all right, runners, take your marks. He's jumping around, jumping his knees up and everything. And then he gets settled in. He's in like lane 5. I think he's in lane 5 and the kid's in lane 4. The kid that's like the faster kid than him. It's obviously a full heat. And so what ends up happening is he gets down and he puts his hands in the blocks. And I'm gonna pause for a second. Here's what I want you to know about my son. My son is a guy he's a real cool dude, man. He rarely gets emotionally engaged. It's interesting. He doesn't get like too high. He doesn't get too low. He's very even keel. He is not a capricious human. He's 16 and I'm kidding you not, barely ever see him get super yeah. I've never seen him do that. He doesn't like that. He doesn't even do that. So I'm like, this kid just kind of he's cool, but he's not arrogant cool. He's not like a punk cool. He's just chill. He just does his thing, right? He's all doing his thing. Now, here's where it comes to play. Typically because of that, he doesn't have that much dog, that grit. He ain't got that grit most of the time. You need that to get the grit. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have that. Because if I played football, if I was kind of out there it's a play, I'm off the field. I need that little bit of dog in me when it comes time because I might trip, but I got to get up and go. I got to go now, right? There's got to be something moving. So back to the story. He's sitting there in the blocks. He's in his hands in the thing. He's got the little hands on the line. Guys looking at him. The whole place gets still. Take your marks. Hips go up. He takes off. Now here's what happens. The blocks slip. Ooh, the moment that the gun goes off, his blocks slip out from underneath him. So this is what takes place. He goes down to his hands. his knee hits the ground. At this point, everybody else is already taken off. They're probably like 3 steps ahead, 1, 2, 3. He's still on the ground with his hands. This, my people, my friend, is a defining moment because here's 2 choices that have to be made, and they are made in a split second. Like the brain doesn't even consciously register. And here's what takes place. Option one is, well, you go to your ground, you look at everybody else, you throw your hands up, and you kind of like, you wait a second, then you're like, all right, and then you take off and run, right? And this takes a couple seconds, let's say 5, 6 seconds, people do it, and they kind of get over to finish the race. And you can watch them. The defining moment, you're watching them, you're going, this person, they just, they're kind of there, I don't know, right? Or option 2 is, without even thinking, you go, F this, I'm going to win this race still, right? He took option 2, people. Oh, woo! I'm not going to lie to you, I felt, here's the thing. He got up. He was honestly in last place. He walked. Those of you guys on the track, he walked everybody, which means you're moving so fast it looks like they're walking. It's called walking. He walked the entire round of people. He closed the gap on that lead kid. He almost won. I'm going to tell you, almost won. But in my heart, the dude won. I want you to grasp this. He almost won. He came close. He ran a 16.5. His fastest a 15.8. And he fell out of the blocks. Think about that. He fell out of the blocks and the distance was closed and collapsed. And all of a sudden, he gets to the point where he almost wins the race. Now, if he gets off perfect, he's winning that race. There's no question about it. If the dude gets out of the blocks and he powers out, he's smoking that kid. And it ain't about the kid. I don't know who he is. It's not about this competition with the guy. Here's what takes place. Yes, fell forward 7 now, chick. Here's what the beautiful part is. In my heart, he won because I saw some dog. Oh, I saw some dog. He got a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't had that. The dude hasn't had that. And all of a sudden, he pulls it out of himself in the middle of these moments. And these are the lessons I want you to grab right now. Because I've been talking to this kid for the longest time about where you need a little bit of gumption, you need a little bit of grit. Because in the middle of a race, what you've done before that race will show up in the race. I'll see who you are. I'll see what you did in the dark based on that moment right now. So while I'm talking about him running track, I'm also talking about you when you ask that new job that you want, when you want to start that business, you want to close that sale, you want to ask for that person's phone number to go out on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you did in the dark shows up in that moment at unconscious levels. You're not thinking about it. You just know like it's time. It's my thing. This is mine. Right? He got up because he knew in the time passed, it all just probably in a split second, his brain said, no. Right? His brain said, no, I have worked too hard for this in the dark. This kid ain't about to just get out here and beat me like this. I'm going to get this. And he went after it. And that for me is the W. Like that's the win. Because it's not just like track for me is great. I love watching him do his thing, but I'm preparing a man for life. That's what I'm doing. I'm preparing a man to go into the world right now. And if he ain't got a little bit of that dog in him when he needs those moments, then I've done a poor job as being a father. And to be honest, leading up, it's been difficult to get this dog out of this kid. And he got a little bit in him right there. I loved seeing it. So literally, like he may not have won the race, but like he won in my heart, he won in my mind, because those are the things that separate us. These are the defining moments, because it would have defined him, right? If he didn't get up, that would define him. But because he did get up, it also defined him. No matter what takes place in this moment, there is a definition of who you are. And I got to see who he was. The whole track place got to see who he was. And what's cool about it is like now he has got to see who he is. That's the most important person to see it in that moment, yourself. And so as much as I'm talking about my son right now, I want you to grasp I'm talking to you about you. And what you do in the dark is something that you get to build up and have fun building and doing. It's not always easy. This morning, I got up, my alarm went off at 5:30. I didn't get out of bed till 6. I didn't want to. But I got up and I got my bike ride in and I got it rolling. I'm not going to lie. That moment has defined my heart for this day. If I don't get up and do anything and I kind of just lay in bed and make an excuse in my head, that's defined me. But I know who I want to be and what definition of myself I am and how I show up in the world. Therefore, I do certain things when nobody's watching in the dark. So when I come to the light, I can shine with confidence and pride knowing you can't poke a hole in me. I earned it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the dog I'm talking about. And that's something that you've got to get for yourself. And I don't know how you're going to get it, but I'm just telling you how to get it. Now, there's a lot of ways you can get it. It's a lot. Honestly, it boils down to doing hard things as often and consistently as you can. Do hard stuff. When was the last time you did a hard workout and got out of the workout and said, I hate myself? No, you loved yourself. You got done with that hard workout, you know? Like, you hiked that mountain. There's so much that comes from these moments where we actually go out and do these things and we feel great about ourselves. But they don't happen because you all of a sudden get up one day and say, I feel great. It's because you did something. Yes, you did something. I think human beings find happiness not in an end destination, but in the loving of the journey, in the loving of the day. I think we're built in the sense of like, think about when you're the happiest. It's when you're creating, when you're doing, when you're in motion. The magic's in the motion. There's something special about being in flow as a human. Like we love getting things and end result things. But think about it. When you drift away into thought, it's like you're creating something with your hands. You're painting, you're fiddling with something, you're making music, you're in a walk, like you're in motion, you're doing something. That's when I'm at the most peak of joy, right? No matter what it is, it's in the motion of doing something, not sitting there thinking about, I want to be happy, right? So think about how are you creating in motion to create happiness now that creates that little bit of like, I know who I am and that dog you need in the moments later on to shine because you deserve it. That's what I believe showed up on that Saturday. I think it was the moment of his world hitting a split second of all the stuff he's done that gave him a sense of like, yeah, this is who I am right now. And it wasn't about me talking to him. It wasn't about his mom. None of it had to do with anything more than him in his head and in his heart. And that's where it always matters. So my friend, as I come and talk to you today, I want you to see, man, do you got that dog in you? It's really it. Do you have that dog in you? If you don't got the dog in you, go get it. It's not outside of you. The thing is, it's not absent. I don't care how long you've been living your life. You could be 70 years old listening to this right now going, but I've lived a life without any dog in me. Well, go get some dog, people. Go earn it. That's all you got to do. You go and do things every day that aren't the easiest. And if you want help with this, we do this. I'm telling you, there's ways that we help coach people and guide them through these stages. Like to think about who you want to be and step by step. If I can do it with this kid who's in my house, who barely listens to me, I could do it with you. I'm just telling you, I can help you. And if not, if you don't need any help, that's cool too. I just want you to get some of that dog. I want you to get some of that, whatever that rough is. Something that gets you in those hard moments with that little gumption you need to push past, because that is what changes lives. I tell people all the time, you have to worry about the moments. Defining moments are big. You have to master moments to move mountains in your life. Master the moments. Doesn't matter what you tell me right now. I want to know how you do it in the moment when it matters, because nothing matters till the moment it matters. That's when it all comes to fruition. I could talk about it all day long, but in those moments, how are you coming together, pushing things forward? That phone call in the dark when nobody sees, but do you make the phone call? Do you send the email? Do you make the ask? Do you put yourself out there and say, hire me, book me, put me on there? Like, what do you do? And I'm telling you, it's all a matter of those defining moments. So go define yourself this week. Go do it today. Rochelle Sabas, I see you out there. Map in motion, I see you. Do motion, be aware. You're very, very welcome. I love you guys. Genuinely, I have a joy coming and talking to you guys in the morning. Cheryl, Danny, John, Simone, Nancy. Hey. I see you guys. All right, that's it. I'm going to let you go. If you don't yet, my one, we'll call plug for the day, because every day I give you a little bit of a plug, is to go to shiftstarterdaily.com. If you don't listen to my daily podcast, you are missing out. Last week was a good week, a great week. I had a conversation with my friends and my family, which are you guys and my family and who I love. And I want you to go listen to any episode you want, because there's some cool ones. They're less than 8 minutes. Every morning they're dropped. One hit today about sitting on a cloud. You want to know what that is? Go to shiftstarterdaily.com and tune in right at Instagram. My bad, Instagram. Someone started calling me. Don't be calling me this early in the morning. I got a wife. What are you calling me for? I'm just kidding. Anyway. All right, you guys. I love you. I will see you on Wednesday.